just want to say that I support microviolence.
What?
Yes.
Okay, let's.
It
We need some context. You can't just say we support microviolence.
Support microviolence. So,
Oh my God.
this weekend, so for those of you who follow Lionel, I drove my wife and some friends and some co-workers to the Marion County Fair to see the Micro Wrestling Federation.
And here we are. This is the But Peep This podcast.
People.
We got some special guests with us today. First off, we got my cat Chunky, who decided he wanted to come and chill with me. So we'll see how long this lasts. But I put a collar on him, a flea collar, and he's a little timid, little shy.
My dog's napping. I don't want to call him because then he's gonna want me to play with him.
No, but I probably won't be moving too much because I got this child. But our other special guests that we have today, the actual planned guests that we have, is somebody who I think we've talked about on every single episode to this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
We have brought this individual up, and honestly, I think this is probably about to be one of my favorite episodes because not only are we going to be talking about some fun stuff today, the three of us together takes us back to college. And just bullshitting around at the lunch table, and when I talk about my two best friends, these are the two people that I talk about the most. And of course, everybody's gotten to know Lionel over the course of this time, but the other person, easily the smartest person that both Lionel and I know. We don't argue with Jennifer. Whatever Jennifer said.
Tag me in. Tag. Check this out. I gotta pick up my mic. I don't care how loud this is. We were arguing at the table. This was 6 years ago about something. Jen said something, and we all disagreed with her. And she was like, "I can literally pull out any book and prove you wrong." You know what she pulled out? Harry Potter. Book 2, was it Chamber of Secrets?
I think that's book. I'm shocked I had a copy of Harry Potter on me.
Oh, bullshit.
Oh, shut up. Hey.
Oh, bullshit.
Shut up.
This was, mind you, this was before we learned that J.K. Rowling was a terp. So,
Yeah, but I hadn't stolen all of my mom's Harry Potter books at that point, so I don't know where I got a copy.
If you ever get the pleasure of meeting Jen, and you're arguing with her, and she goes, "1 sec, you lost. Let it go."
Over. And that's also very true because we're going to, she's going to kind of tell you what she's been up to for the past little bit of time, and we've mentioned it multiple times. But, out of all the guests that we've had, this is probably the one that probably means the most to us. So welcome, Jennifer.
Jenny.
This is a long time coming, and a very, very pointed reason why we brought you on today.
First episode of many.
Absolutely, yeah. We've been trying to get Jennifer on for a minute, but she's like, I've been busy with what have you been busy with, Jennifer?
What are you doing these days, Jen?
What you up to?
I have been in the middle of bar prep since y'all have started putting this together, because I started bar prep in mid-May since I graduated law school in late May from the University of Maryland. So I also caught COVID in that time, which screwed me for a little bit longer.
So where is the University of Maryland's law school?
Baltimore.
Y'all see what we saying? Let it go. She went to law school in Baltimore.
In Baltimore.
Let it go.
So, but yeah.
Do you own a pair of New Balances since you live in Baltimore? Do you own a pair of New Balances?
I don't think I do right now, but I usually do. Like, those are my favorite brand of tennis shoes. So,
Sean, I don't know if you know this, but in Baltimore, they don't wear like J's or Nikes or anything like that. It's New Balance.
They're good tennis shoes.
It's the weirdest thing. New Balance.
They're really good shoes. I did that before I moved to Baltimore, though.
They're ugly.
I don't give a shit.
They are ugly. New Balance
ugly.
shoes are very ugly. They're good shoes.
They're good shoes.
You do a lot of shit in them, but they are in fact ugly.
Cut the grass.
go to the store.
I walk everywhere, so I need a good pair of shoes. They can be a little ugly.
Take a good walk.
See, you need a good pair of shoes, but you never want to try on shoes.
I
So
hate
good.
changing pairs of tennis shoes. I wear one pair until they wear out.
I have multiple. I have like three pairs of shoes I alternate throughout the week, and like 2 pairs of Sperry's. Like I have a pair of shoes for every day in the work week. So
I have one pair of tennis shoes, one pair of boots, and a pair of loafers that I really like.
I got about 20 to 25 pairs of shoes, about 15 pairs of Vans.
that's
We
just
could be working on 16 soon.
all those Vans, and you got no swag. Anyway, so that joke.
Wow.
What do you get when you put an angry emoji, a happy emoji, and a sad emoji in the blender?
I don't know.
What?
Mixed feelings. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take my headphones off and I'm gonna go.
You're telling me I'm banned from telling
No, I can
jokes.
stay. Okay, I can stay. Sweet.
I'm banned from telling jokes. Yeah, I'm
You
banned
are.
from telling jokes.
You are. You're
I'm
banned.
on a ban from telling jokes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're done. You're done. So, let's before we get into the meat and potatoes of this episode.
Missed the opportunity for a great segue there. You missed it. You missed it.
It's a food opinion.
It is food opinion. So before
Yeah.
we get into the meat potatoes, let's have a little bit of appetizer.
What's really funny is that my food opinion is actually about potatoes.
See, this is
Okay. Let me go first, and then we're gonna go to Jeff. Okay.
why do you
first thing-
always have one? Why you got so many?
I eat a lot of food. I got a lot of opinions.
I just-
probably do one of these every week.
Listeners of the But Peep This podcast, I want y'all to know, when Lionel gets rich, I guarantee you one of the first things he's going to start doing is saving up to own his restaurant, because he's been talking about that for a long time.
And you know what I'm gonna serve? I'm gonna call it Lionel's Kitchen.
Oh boy! Here we
And you
go.
know what the menu is gonna be? Whatever I fucking decide to make that day.
I think you have an opportunity.
Straight up.
I think that's
Straight
actually
up.
a decent concept.
Like, if today I feel like making, Salisbury steak and potatoes and green beans, like $20 a plate, and you can eat as much as you want. But that's what I made today, and that's what you're gonna fucking eat. And there are no to-go boxes. You eat what's on your plate. You don't take shit with you.
Well, you and I are gonna have a problem.
No. Don't buy enough more than you chew. Anyway, so last week I said that you guys need to stop putting macaroni and cheese on everything.
That you
And
did.
then the next day, I go to the the Sugar Factory? I don't know if you guys heard of this restaurant, but a lot of celebrities are like invested in this Sugar Factory, like Nick Cannon, Pauly D, yada yada yada, right? So
Some great celebrities right there.
great.
Nick Cannon and Pauly
Nick-
D.
Nick Cannon is definitely a celebrity.
Well, you've been on the East Coast for too damn long.
True.
Nick
So-
Cannon and Pauly D.
Okay.
New
Anyways,
Jersey
before I
celebrity.
was so rudely interrupted, Nick Cannon is actually from San Diego, so he's a West Coast.
Yeah, but he spends
Um,
most of the time in Atlanta because that's where Wild 'N Out is filmed.
Okay. But
All right, then.
that doesn't mean anyway.
You can't get mad at me. I have a cat.
Yes, I can. Fuck you and
Don't be nice to my
Chucky.
be nice to my child.
Fuck you and Chucky.
Look at him.
Anyway,
Look at him. He's
so-
not doing anything.
I'm gonna mute you. So I went, me and my wife and some friends went to this place, and the food was expensive as shit to start off, right? So I was like, burger it is, because I'm not paying $45 for an 8-ounce filet. Just not gonna happen on a Wednesday night. Sorry. So they had this burger, the big cheese, and it had lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, bacon, crispy onions, which I am a sucker for crispy onions on a burger, and mac and cheese. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna taste this, and it's gonna be disgusting. I'm gonna wipe the macaroni and cheese off, and it's gonna further prove my point that y'all need to stop putting macaroni and cheese on everything. Okay, so I got it. Sat down, they medium well. Touched the burger. Burger was juicy as hell. I was like, damn, medium well? Okay, cool. It was delicious. It was delicious.
He texted me a picture of the burger and he's like, all right, we about to see what happens. 15 minutes later. All right, I was wrong. Told you.
So I'm gonna amend my last unpopular food opinion. Okay. Macaroni and cheese doesn't go on everything, but it can be done right.
Okay.
Although you shouldn't do it because that's stupid. If you do it correctly, I might eat it. Okay. Now, you guys see on TikTok, everybody's using like the Dano seasoning.
Yeah.
If you watch any food, the yum yum get you some.
Yeah.
You know what that shit tastes like? Dry dishwater. Imagine if dishwater was a powder. It's disgusting.
Why?
I don't know. It's like and is spaghetti a side dish?
No.
Okay. You guys are gonna have to convince the entire Black community that it isn't. Okay. So
the Italians would like to have a word. Now I wish I could say that without having the inherent, general racial tensions that go with that statement. However,
okay. So and my usual, tea is nasty, mayonnaise is nasty, Chick-fil-A is like mediocre at best. Nobody really wants homophobic chicken unless they have to eat it. That's it. Now, Jen, be very I know you're ready to defend your point, and I know we probably won't be able to debunk it, but that doesn't mean we're gonna like it.
Okay, so my first one, and I know that most people don't agree with this, I think French fries are one of the worst forms of potatoes.
Oh.
Not in a way that I dislike them, but I will never actively choose French fries, but I will eat them if I'm very hungry.
I would like to throw baked potato on that one as well, but I would put French fries directly above.
Worst form of potatoes is definitely au gratin. Is that how you pronounce it? Au gratin or scalloped? What the hell is wrong?
Both of those are delicious. You're just wrong.
Hang on, I gotta go get my wife.
Au gratin just is with cheese.
I'm taking my headphones off so I can't hear you guys until I call Mel. Hey Mel, Melanie, I need to ask you something. What? My two best friends in the whole wide world just said to me that French fries and potatoes are the worst forms of potatoes.
Baked potatoes. Sean said baked potatoes.
I said baked
potatoes.
Said
I disagree with that. Sean's wrong.
Sean said baked potatoes are the worst form of potatoes.
Not a fan of
Jen said
baked potato.
French fries.
Don't really care.
Between the two, I'd say French fries.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Why?
So we just out here actively eating like potatoes, like scalloped potatoes?
I like baked potatoes.
Baked potatoes, tater tots.
French fries.
Oh, I do have to take Arby's fries.
I would eat any of them.
Thank you, babe.
I think the whole thing with fast food, and I think the whole thing with the French fry conversation is that if you go to a fast food restaurant and you order something, it automatically comes with fries. So you'll eat it, but I don't have any frozen fries like in my like freezer or anything. And
What did you say about Arby's fries?
they
Arby's
don't
fries
count.
are the only exception for me. I do like Arby's curly fries,
Arby's curly fries fantastic.
right?
They're absolutely fantastic.
Oh my god.
You doing all right over there? We got a problem with Arby's curly fries? 'Cause that's a conversation. Have you lost your mind?
Arby's curly fries are fantastic. Those are the only frozen French fries I will keep in the freezer sometimes.
Oh, I don't keep french fries.
Okay.
Those are,
Sean doesn't keep French fries in the freezer because Sean can't cook. Let's just be real about that.
It takes 10 minutes to cook french fries.
Okay.
Or 20.
I said
20.
20.
Yeah, for the most
How
part.
are you cooking them?
In like the oven.
Okay.
Like a little
Like,
toast.
like I said, Sean can't cook. That's why he doesn't have.
What?
French
Because I don't
fries
have
in
an
his
air
oven.
fryer? Because I don't have an air fryer, Lionel?
Sean, an air fryer is just like the oven. It literally is a mini oven. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
it is.
It is.
Who's the first one out of three of us to have an air fryer?
I don't have one.
I don't know when you bought an air fryer. We didn't make this known.
I had an air fryer in college.
Really?
When?
My last 2 years.
Okay, because I was like, the first 2 years, you definitely didn't have an air fryer.
Yeah, I
because
only remember
your
you getting.
room
No,
would
why
have
the
been
fuck
on-
would I? Well,
Because your room would have been on fire because it was fucking disgusting.
we don't
That's why.
talk about my room senior year.
I found mold in a cup in your sink.
Nicole will never come on this podcast, probably, so I don't ever have to worry about that one. I don't have to worry about
your
that one.
apartment your senior year. I know exactly how bad.
And the only person we don't talk about that. That didn't happen. No one knows.
I threw several of your cups in the trash.
No wonder why I don't have a fucking.
Number one, why don't you have like you use disposable cups for that? Anyways, so
We got to go back to explain that one. I don't have time for that one.
I literally have a headache now.
So, Lana, what is the worst form of potato for you then?
It's hash browns.
No.
Not even fucking close.
Like
What?
hash browns.
Hash browns are so good.
That's
Like-
not the top three. Like what?
hash browns and then scalloped or au gratin. Am I pronouncing that right?
Au gratin just means with cheese.
Okay.
They're delicious.
That's all
Yes.
that means.
Scalloped au gratin.
Scallop means
Hash
cut
brown.
up, and
Hash
au
browns.
gratin with
Like
slice with cheese. That's it.
if, with the exception of Waffle House, okay, hash browns are trash. It's home fries. I'm team home fries.
Like cut potatoes.
I'm team home fries.
You can have that, but that's not what we're talking
Right.
about.
But hash browns are the worst because you can never get a hash brown that's crispy all the way through. Once you get to the middle, it's fucking mush. It's disgusting.
That's how Waffle
And
Houses
who
are.
I know, but Waffle House actually does a good job. Theirs aren't as thick as other hash browns I've had. So
The fuck kind of hash browns you eat? What the fuck?
go to any place that sells breakfast. Any place that sells breakfast.
Thick.
Hash browns are
browns?
always, they use too much of the potato like shreds. And it just, I don't like them. Unless they come from Waffle House, I don't like them. They're the worst.
This is a conversation.
Hey.
This is great.
And baked potato is definitely the best. Actually, baked potatoes and
potatoes are
French fries.
delicious.
Like
I
Sean,
think-
I'm sorry, Sean, you geek it. You
Time.
geek it on that.
I
Like,
think-
I
I think a key reason in that though is that I don't eat sour cream, and most people eat their baked potatoes with sour cream.
neither do I.
Like they
I'll
load
eat it
the
with
baked-
sour
I
cream, but
don't-
I also put a shit ton of butter.
I don't-
So like,
I just
You get that
I
butter
don't
in
do
there,
none of
Sean. Get some butter and
Now-
if we're talking about Longhorn. Now hold on.
now
Now
a baked sweet potato totally different.
that's disgusting.
that's
What?
sweet potato fries are actually the
Sweet
most
potato
delicious
fries.
I didn't say fries.
I agree with that.
I didn't say fries.
Sweet potato fries are disgusting. A
I
baked
agree
sweet
with that one.
potato is disgusting.
A baked sweet You talk about like with the cinnamon sugar and the honey butter. Oh,
I do not like sweet.
That's
y'all
disgusting.
fucking wildin'.
No.
Oh,
No,
that's
sir.
one of my
No,
favorite
sir.
fucking
No,
things.
sir. You are geeking, sir.
I'll get a look
Yes,
when
you are out of order.
going. I'll tell you what. One of my favorite places to go back in the day was Texas Roadhouse, and I get one of the pork chops. Back in the day, get one of the pork chops with the loaded sweet potato.
Listen, when I'm on the road,
Good.
I fuck up Texas Roadhouse at least twice a week.
Texas Roadhouse is the shit.
Day. There
I
is
was gonna
no
say, I think we
restaurant.
went several times while you were remote.
There is no steakhouse that is as consistent as
Trust
Texas.
yourself.
And they make the best baked potatoes like in the world.
I just don't really like baked
I
potatoes.
can't make a
It's
better
not really
baked
my
potato
thing.
than Texas Roadhouse.
Baked potatoes is not my thing.
I can't accept that. Why? Like, is it you don't like baked potatoes? Is it purely because of the sour cream?
I'll be honest with you. I don't really a potato by itself. I don't really like the taste of. So for me, I have to like there has to be more flavor to the potato. And my biggest problem with a baked potato is I can never get the flavor in each bite. And so I constantly like I never have enough butter, never have enough cheese, never have enough bacon, anything like that. And
don't-
most places I go, I can't make my own. So
I don't think you're baked potato and right.
okay. I mean
I don't
I was gonna say I would second that. I don't think you've had a good baked potato.
I mean, okay.
I don't know what to
Could
tell
be the
you on
case.
that one. So like,
That sucks for you.
I'm genuinely concerned as your friend that you like don't like baked potatoes because like what
Like pretty much every other form.
what are you gonna eat with your steak? Like are you one of those guys who eats French fries with his steak?
No, I don't. It depends on the place. Depends on what's there. I don't need that from you down here. All right, we ain't doing this shit. Ain't doing that.
Listen. Even the cat was like, Psh, "This man right here." Even he turned his head like, "What?" I can't believe I'm friends with y'all. Don't like French fries are the worst. You don't like baked potatoes. Y'all geeking. What the fuck?
At first, when the French fry thing got said, I was like, "Oh, that's kind of weird." But then I thought about it. I'm like, I don't really eat French fries that much unless I go eat fast
Okay,
food.
so explain.
I think home fry. Hold on though, because you've been saying home fries this whole time. Those are two different things. Two very different things.
Yeah. Home fries are, I know home fries and French fries are two different things.
Yeah. I mean, I have a problem with the fact that they're called home fries, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah, I'd like breakfast potatoes or something.
I do like breakfast potatoes.
Breakfast potatoes or
Yeah.
home style.
Now,
home style.
sometimes at steak places you could get home fries instead of regular fries, and I'll do that.
So you do eat regular fries with your steak?
Was that not fucking clear? Did you,
No, you
just
said
miss that one?
You said
I'm about to censor myself on that one.
He goes, it depends on which steakhouse I'm at. That's what you said.
It does depend.
depends.
It absolutely depends. Because if they only got like broccoli and like rice and shit like that, I'm like, what do you eat with a steak?
Me?
Besides baked potato. Baked potato is not available. What else you eat?
Mashed.
Yeah.
Loaded mashed at that.
I don't trust people's mashed potatoes a lot of times.
I love mashed potatoes.
All right. If I'm at Texas Roadhouse, I'm getting the mashed
See, here's
I'm
the
getting the
thing.
mashed potatoes regardless.
If you're
Loaded.
gonna be here, I need you to not turn away when I say stuff because I don't need you.
No,
contributing to
Sean.
what's happening there.
No, you can't. No. Let
You
Chucky
give me the
have
side.
his own opinion.
And that's
He's
not
got
true.
opinions. You can't force your opinions on your
don't do
children.
that. Don't do that. We grew up like that. You know, you don't get to do that to Chunky. Damn it.
This is my child.
I'm gonna call CPS on your ass.
Call them. They're gonna be like they're gonna come based on the fact that you're trying to say that there's a child that are only called Chunky.
What's his name? I don't know. He goes by
We
Chunky.
go by-
What's his real name? I don't know. They call him Chucky. I think his
Yeah,
real name
Jennifer.
is like Brad.
I was gonna say
know.
I know the cat's name.
Yeah, the cat does have an official name.
What's the cat's name?
It's Hades.
Hades.
Yeah, I go by Chunky too.
Yeah.
Okay, but Hades is a much cooler name.
My favorite cat
Oh,
name that I ever had
no.
was
Chunky is
Arrow
definitely
or
cool.
Aristotle. My favorite cat name.
Chunky
I
is
wanted to
definitely a
rename
cooler
him
name.
Aristotle, but his former parent wouldn't let me.
Okay, so we've just established that we couldn't go to a potato restaurant together
We can. I'd be willing to try a baked potato with y'all.
because
Because obviously y'all eat.
you
baked
should,
potatoes.
Sean, you should let me make you a baked potato.
We could do that. That's fine.
When you come up in October to Indy, or at least I'll take you to get a baked potato,
Okay. That's
and
fine.
I'll show you, like, I'll teach you how to eat a baked potato.
Okay.
Like your stepdad would.
Jennifer, do you have another one? I think you said you had two. Right?
I have another one, and I know nobody's gonna agree with me on it because I have no defense for it. It's just a hot take. I do not like red beans and rice.
All right, we got it. All right, okay, hold on, time out. Okay, hold on. No, hold on. Let me tell you something. As the resident Cajun, what we not gonna do is come on this fucking show
I'm Cajun too.
and start trashing the Louisiana food. We ain't doing
I
that.
am also Cajun.
I'm not gonna disagree. I'm also not gonna agree. Red beans and rice is kind of just one of those things. It's like, what you got? Red beans and rice? Yeah, I guess.
I don't like
I
it.
guess.
And like,
I said I was gonna make it the other day, and I looked at it. I was like, you know what? Oh, I don't want to fucking make red beans and rice.
Now, what I will tell you, what I do, this one might be a little controversial, but what I do like more than red beans and rice is white beans and rice.
Okay,
I do
I
like
do-
white beans a lot better. will
I
say
can
that.
put up with white beans and rice, so I will support that.
Yeah. My grandmother and my grandfather, they used to make white beans with pork chops. Fantastic.
Are they actually white beans or are they like navy beans?
Navy beans and white beans are the same.
Okay, I thought so.
I was gonna say I'm not a huge fan of white beans and rice, but I'll eat it. I do not like red beans and rice.
The worst, since we're talking about southern food, the worst southern food in this world is okra.
No.
In the South, fucking okra.
not
Don't
okra.
you put fucking okra.
What do you think it is?
And hopping
I don't know, but it ain't
I don't
okra.
know
I'll
who
tell you that.
thought of like putting that together. That's disgusting.
What?
I don't like
Hoppin'
it.
John.
Hoppin' John?
Yeah, Google it real quick.
My hands are full.
You know what? All right, I'll Google it real quick.
This cat weighs like 25 pounds. I mean, like, I can't just let him go. He's gonna fall.
Hoppin' John is peas and rice. It's disgusting.
Why is that called Hoppin' Johns?
I don't know. I don't create the names.
That's just peas and rice.
Okra and Hoppin' John. They're fucking disgusting.
I don't like okra.
I like okra.
You also don't like baked potatoes and you eat sweet potatoes with fucking butter in them.
Honey butter.
It's
It's a
honey.
difference.
Oh, I'm sorry. Honey butter.
There's a difference.
I'm sorry. Honey butter. Excuse me.
What? Name one thing that butter doesn't make better.
Tacos.
I disagree. It would be a disgrace, but I disagree.
Tacos. Chili.
I disagree. Nah,
Barbecue.
nah, you can't give me chili. And
Barbecue.
I know you looking at me like that. Barbecue, really?
Barbecue chicken.
Really?
Ice cream. Cinnamon toast crunch. Lemonade.
Okay, lemonade, you finally
You want,
got
me
one.
to, you want me to keep going?
Finally got one.
So you out here putting butter in your cinnamon toast crunch? You full of shit.
I could.
Why?
I mean, I don't fucking know. I feel like it'd be fine.
That's disgusting.
That's disgusting.
Cinnamon and butter. I mean, like, of
Okay.
all the things you picked, cinnamon and
Toast
butter.
Crunch.
Cinnamon toast crunch.
I mean, I don't know how I'd do it.
So I'm gonna make you stand on that one day.
Dude, I got 2 boxes. I
I'm
just
gonna make
finished
you-
one off.
I'm
I
gonna
got
make you
2 boxes
stand
of
on
Cinnamon
that.
Toast Crunch in my cabinet.
Yeah. I'm gonna make you stand on that one day.
I'll do it tonight. You think I give a fuck?
On the subject of weird
Watch me.
combinations, peanut butter and coffee is surprisingly good.
I can believe that one. I believe that in the same way that like peanut butter and dark chocolate would be good. Because coffee's bitter. The peanut butter is, I don't know what the hell you
Maybe
even
peanut butter,
call
you
peanut
can't do
butter.
chunky.
No,
Oh,
no,
chunky peanut
no,
butter, that's
no.
gross.
Chunky has to be left alone when it comes to peanut butter. We don't give peanut butter to Chunky.
No, you need to know what you did.
I know what I did.
No.
He was
I
okay
feel
with
like
it. He didn't
I
turn
could-
his head on that one.
I could be convinced with the coffee and peanut butter because I'm not a coffee drinker. So that's
I believe it.
butter and coffee. There you go. That one
That's
tastes good.
actually a thing people do.
That's disgusting.
I don't do it.
I think you
I
just
don't
don't like
stand-
butter.
But people do.
What?
Obviously not.
I just told you I did.
Okay. I can fly.
I just-
Doesn't mean I fucking can. Like,
If I had
what?
wheels, I'd be a wagon. I just don't think butter goes good with everything, especially sweet potatoes.
Reminds me of my favorite TikTok. Where these British people are cooking for this Italian man, and they made some kind of dish, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it would be like similar to this in Italy." And he looks at him and he goes, "If my grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bike." I mean, what? And they fall on the
Yeah.
floor and laugh.
You know what? Since we're speaking about like Italian food, when it comes to pizza, you know what goes on pizza?
A lot of stuff.
Whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
God damn. Like, if Papa John's is gonna make me wait 30 minutes for a pizza, you damn right I'm gonna put some pineapples on it.
But by the way, I have to say this because as the resident pineapple pizza person, I've recently had
Somehow we knew that already. Sean.
I have to rescind my pineapple pizza conversation because of the fact that I have learned that I am allergic to pineapples. So I can no longer eat pineapples on my pizza, or else it makes me feel like I'm having a damn heart attack.
That's funnier
Yeah.
considering how often we had pineapple on pizza in college because we would order bacon pineapple pizza.
You don't know how much. I don't eat nearly as much pizza as I used to. I realized pizza wasn't even my favorite thing. It was pineapple pizza. It was a Hawaiian pizza that I liked. So that sucks. But yeah, it makes me feel like I'm having a heart attack and it gives me a migraine. It's like the worst damn thing. So
Oh,
I
that's
don't eat
kind of what
pineapple
beer makes
anymore.
me feel like.
That might just be you're dehydrated.
Like,
You
what
don't
makes you feel like?
really drink water.
No, it's just beer. Other alcohol doesn't do it.
Fair enough.
Well, Jen is 2/3 coffee anyway, so.
Let go of the shirt. Let go.
I debated making coffee before
So,
this.
where you get this shirt from, Sean? Where you get this shirt from? That's funny.
Chunky,
This
that's
guy.
homophobic.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're ready to get into the meat and potatoes.
I know. I'm still kind of stewing on the fact that y'all motherfuckers think French fries are the worst type of potato.
Except for Arby's fries.
Listen. I don't know.
Popeyes?
Arby's.
You would not even put Popeyes in that conversation?
No.
Oh, y'all. Oh, you.
Popeyes
Oh, you
fries
lying.
leave a film of grease at the top of your mouth.
Okay, I don't know what the fuck Popeyes fries you have, and I don't have that problem.
Popeyes may have the worst
Oh, come on.
fast food fries.
Are you serious?
They may have the worst.
Crystals? Crystals.
I tell you, Hardee's has the best, all things constant. Yeah.
If Hardee's didn't make me feel like I was dying every time I eat it. I'd eat it
And you
a lot
know what?
more.
Tater tots are trash too.
Ball.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
Tater tots are trash
That's
too.
a lie.
We're gonna talk about it. Like,
I think you're just mad. I think that this seems like you're mad.
I'm not mad, but I don't remember the last time I had a tater tot. And I'm honestly okay with that. I could go my whole life and not have another tater tot. At least I'm not a psychopath with food like Jen is. So anyway,
Shut up.
we can move on. I mean, if y'all want to know how Jen's a psychopath with food, then we can go on with that. But
We're
if
gonna talk
I
about
want to
bread.
move on,
We want to talk about bread.
I wasn't even talking about the bread.
No, he's talking about the cherry.
All right, so we got two stories. Listen, the meat and potatoes will be here in a minute.
The bread is, I'm right about
cherry.
the bread.
You're not. No, you're not.
I'm not
No,
wrong about the cherry.
She's not right. She's not wrong about the bread.
You both. It doesn't matter if you agree with her. Y'all both geeking about that.
You remember how at the beginning of the show we said like, yeah, we don't argue with Jen, and like here we are, like the first entire like
To be fair, this is
30
after
minutes of the show.
opinion.
No, because I don't care how old we are. Jen could be on her deathbed and not go, Jen, I love you, but that bread in the microwave shit was fucking stupid.
It's delicious.
And she
also
will,
have a
and she will be on her deathbed going, fuck you, no, it's not. So, anyways, Jen put some bread in the microwave with a little bit of butter, and I think that is psychopathic behavior.
And we say it's time efficient.
So, I don't care what you guys say. I will not be convinced that microwaving bread is. I feel like it's almost like un-American, but then again, who wants to be American these days?
We're gonna talk about American a little bit.
I don't think that that's right. Like,
It's not wrong.
I want to say morally, I don't think that's right. I don't think that that's like okay.
As I said on Facebook yesterday, morality is tricky.
I don't think this is though.
I think it is.
Apparently it is.
I don't know.
I want to know about these cherries. What's going on with this though?
I feel like you should be in trouble for that.
The bread thing I brought up just for a laugh. What's going on with
Yeah.
these cherries?
So one day, me and Jen went to a movie. I think we went to see Halloween. It was something. It was actually hot because Halloween came out in October. So we went to see something that was disappointing. I forget what.
Oh, was
movie
it Antlers?
It was the fucking Antlers. Okay, we're gonna come back to that. Okay.
Antlers was bad.
That was by far the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And it was 2 hours long. And we sat through the whole thing. Like, no, wait a minute, just give it time. The plot, right?
Gotta get better.
Yeah, honey, just okay. So we went to Sonic afterwards because I was just dying for a milkshake. I was like, I gotta have a milkshake. So Jen was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll drink a milkshake. So I'm in Baltimore for work. So my rental car is dirty because I work in the rail yard all day, right? So Jen gets her milkshake, I get my milkshake, I put my seatbelt on. Jen's already, of course, in her milkshake because she's not driving. And
I couldn't drive at that
so
point.
she takes the cherry, right, off the top of the milkshake. She eats the cherry and she looks around and she puts the cherry stem back into her milkshake.
I wasn't
gonna
throwing
swallow
it on the floor.
I
Swallow
said,
it.
You roll the window down.
you're a fucking psychopath.
I'm not throwing it on the floor.
The floor is already dirty.
I don't give a shit.
It's a
Wait.
cherry stem.
Wait, what happens if you swallow it though?
I was gonna
Shut
roll
up.
the window down so I could toss it out.
But she didn't do that. She put it back in her milkshake. That's what psychopaths
I put it down for a
Dude.
second.
Was it like right on top to where you could grab it again?
back in her milkshake. Back in her milkshake.
Right on top in the whipped cream so that I could grab it again after I rolled the window.
That's psychopathic.
I do something similar, but a lot more chaotic.
That's
A lot more
at
chaotic.
this point, my milkshake was in the cup holder and I'm pulling off. I could have rolled the window down for her. There is
No,
no
this happened before we got out of the parking lot.
I know, but still. My milkshake was in the cup holder. I had a hand free. I was driving. Yes, I drive with one hand, people. Sue me. Call IMPD. They ain't gonna do shit.
Who
Anyway.
tries with two hands regularly?
I don't know. Jen probably does.
I
Just
don't
don't
drive
drive.
regularly.
I don't know. A lot of people. Old people.
Are you
Truck
old?
drivers? Truck drivers?
Are you a truck driver?
I don't know. I don't drive.
You don't know.
I don't drive with two hands.
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out about it. It's not a who's gonna get mad at you for not driving with two hands?
Why are we digging? What? There's somebody that. You really should be driving at 10 and 2. You know somebody in the comments will come do that. You really should be two hands on the wheel. That's very unsafe practices that you're trying and you're running a podcast. Like, bro, shut up. Anyway, so as soon as she did it, because I'm like backing out, I'm looking at the backup cam and I see her out of my peripheral and she goes, ow. She didn't even think about it. She just
because I was gonna roll the window down. Like I already had the thought process.
That's like that's what psychopaths do. You're a psychopath.
Nope. I'm right.
You're not. Nope.
I could say something that's gonna make you look like a lot less of a psychopath. When I drink anything with a can, I drop the can top back in my drink.
Why are you like this?
That's disgusting, Sean.
I don't know.
Like this is why we can't have nice things.
I pop it off and just drop it in there. I don't know.
That's disgusting.
I did it at first because like I used to go places where and mind you, I don't drink like canned drinks very often. And so anytime like I would drink canned drinks would be like at places where there were a lot of people. And because I'm not I'm going to say rude, but I'm not saying it's rude for you to ask for something, but I just didn't want to do that. So I just drank whatever was there. But I didn't drink it very much. So I would just like leave it on the table. So for me to be able to differentiate, I would just pop the thing off. But most of the time there wasn't a trash can. So I just popped it in there. Then I learned that I could grab and just kind of shake it and it'll hit the side and be like, oh, this is mine, because no one else is psychotic enough to do that.
I have discovered I do something vaguely similar when I'm drunk. I will take all of the pop tabs off of the can and put them in my back pocket and take them home.
Why?
Go back to Jen. See, that's psychopathic. See
Why?
My roommate's sister collects them for her sorority, so I put them in the little jar on the counter when I get home.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's like, no, see that's charity, even though sorority is a cult, but that's charity. You know, it is what it is.
I was gonna say I was never at a sorority. I just went to a really small private school.
One day we gotta do a Greek life episode so I could go through and talk about.
I got one sentence, Sean.
Oh man.
Your friends are assholes. And you're turning into an asshole yourself.
Oh man.
Okay.
I got so much to say.
All right. One sentence.
Oh
Sean.
boy.
Your friends, they're assholes. And you're turning into an asshole yourself. And also, to Sean's fraternity, y'all motherfuckers owe me money, bitches.
$75.
Cash. I ain't forgot.
Cash. We actually talk about it regularly. We don't forget.
I ain't forgot.
All right. Ready to get into it?
Let's get it.
All right, let's do it. So, this week, crazy shit going on. Clarence Thomas is a damn bastard. Brett Kavanaugh was always shit. I don't think that was ever really in question.
Also, Alito.
Yeah, Alito's a dumbass. But basically, we all know that Roe versus Wade was repealed. And you should be able to figure out by now, but we at the But Peep This podcast are not supportive of that.
we care about human rights.
We care about human rights, a lot. So I think it was said yesterday in our meeting, if we lose any subscribers because of people who were against human rights,
then we're sorry that you actually thought you had a friend enough.
Yeah, I don't really know what to tell you. And I've been
I'm sorry that you didn't unfollow sooner.
I've been fairly active on Facebook, and Jennifer and I actually go back all the way to college on this. We were the co-founders of a political organization, quote unquote, because I got to put that in quotes because reasons. And we were pushing progressive politics on campus. Jennifer is actually one of the people who got me into politics as much as I am currently. It's obviously a very large part of Jennifer's life. Jennifer, what did you write? What did you write that seminar on? You want to tell the people what you wrote that seminar on? Just kind of give a perspective of like where you are when it comes to like these knowledgeable things.
Keeping in mind that I wrote 2, and I know which one you're talking about.
I know you know which one I'm talking about.
The one you're not talking about was an argument for universal health care.
Oh, we could do that all day long. We do that all day long.
The other one was on Muslim feminist movements around the world and how strongly secular countries don't work well with encouraging people to actually go for their religious rights and general rights. And then I presented it the next year at a conference.
She talked about women politics in the Muslim communities. And I remember talking to her about it, and I was like, where are you even finding that information? She's like, honestly, it's stuff I got to research myself because no one talks about this. You were what, like a sophomore?
I started looking at it as a sophomore. I wrote the paper as a junior. And I presented on it as a senior. But yeah, I was relying off of case studies that I was lucky enough to have translated because the only other language I kind of speak is French. Not well enough to do that.
We don't talk about French.
Nerd.
Yes.
Madam Windish, I don't think you would ever watch this. Number one, you were one of my favorite people at Spring Hill, just so you know, not while I was teaching, while you were teaching me. You were one of my least favorite people. But I love you now for what you did.
I was going to say, I loved her afterwards.
But please understand, and I'm not going to get too much into particulars here, just, I don't want anything to happen, but one of the people in this call is the reason I passed French both times. Because I'm going to tell you what.
I taught you how to say it was raining men.
Yeah, sure did.
I'll tell you this.
But
Somebody on this call is the reason I passed math.
I think everybody in this world knows who that one is.
Several friends by making sure a bunch of people passed math.
That's how Jen ate like throughout the week, because we would just buy her food. It's like, hey, will you do my bath? Nope, you know the deal. Buy me food. And she wouldn't touch it. She wouldn't touch it until you bought her food.
I did my work. But to fill in the gaps.
Listen, there's
No
a couple
way.
of people out there. I'm really thankful
way.
for making sure I passed English because I didn't do that reading.
It was definitely worth the load of fries, I'm telling you.
Moral of the story, make friends in all of your college classes.
Moral of the story is make friends with Jen.
Well, Jen's not going to help people in college right now.
Oh, maybe
We'll help middle schoolers with math, though. I helped somebody's younger sibling with math in my group chat.
You also gave career advice to one of my high schoolers. So, for those of you who haven't figured out yet, the three of us are super close. We like this is the group right here. This is the only reason Jennifer hasn't been on this, probably isn't going to be on this like regularly, is because of the fact that Jen's a fucking lawyer.
She's a
Like,
nerd.
like that just is what it is. She's gonna be working.
Jen reads for fun.
Yeah.
Jen reads a
I've got
lot.
pile on the floor.
Lord of mercy. Lord of
One
mercy.
of them's a Warrior Cats book, so like not all of it's.
Jen would bring a book to a restaurant if you let her.
I would not.
Yeah, you would.
You've done it before.
Not with y'all.
You've done it before.
Okay, that's fair. I wouldn't do it now with y'all.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, because we whip you the whole time. Oh, what are you reading, nerd?
We're
What are you gonna
adults.
have as an appetizer, you nerd?
I think we're also adults now. I mean, I think we're,
So what?
all right.
That's fair.
So what?
But
what were we talking about?
we were talking about how
Abortion.
stupid the Supreme Court is.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm gonna make my statement.
Come here, buddy.
I'm gonna let them talk, and
Right.
then I'm gonna go back into something that I'm going to do throughout. You could
That'd be
find me on Facebook if you really want to see it. I don't know how much I'm gonna bring it on here, but I'm gonna bring it here today. How do I put this lightly?
Don't put it lightly.
Here's the problem with this conversation. And this is the problem I've had with this conversation from the beginning. Because I remember when people used to talk to me about it, and they used to be like, oh, yeah, the abortion conversation's a moral issue. It's not. It's a political issue. And here's why. Because it doesn't matter what you feel as though people should do. Because if you don't want to do it that way, then don't fucking do it. It's as simple as that. Like, just because you won't have an abortion. I mean, honestly, if I got somebody pregnant, I would not want them to have an abortion, and I would make that clear. And I've made that clear before, not saying I've had pregnancy scares before, but I've made that clear before. And like that's fine. But at the end of the day, it's not my place to be able to make that decision. And that's my stance on it. So when you force everybody, and also keep something in mind. I don't know where all of our listeners come from. Some of you might be on the West Coast. Some of you might be in states where, you know, everything's cool when it comes to abortion. And this doesn't incredibly concern you directly when it comes to the state that you're in. And that's fine. But we grew up in the South. So we knew as soon as this happened, we knew exactly what was going to happen. I told a joke on Facebook yesterday where I'm pretty sure Florida outlawed that shit so quick I didn't even see a notification come through. I mean, good Lord. I mean, DeSantis has been talking about it for goddamn ever. Oh, I shouldn't be saying his name. Let me rephrase that. DeFuckstick said it, you know, for goddamn ever. We're gonna talk about him today. Don't worry. But it's not any one person's place to tell another woman what they should do with their body, male, female, or otherwise. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, what you would do in your situation is different than what somebody else would do. I'm not going to sit here and try to have the conversation of, you know, well, we need to figure out what's a child and what's not. I'm not having that conversation because we're not going to agree. We got to move past that. It's not about what you feel though you should do. It's about what the law should be. Because at the end of the day, here's the problem with your conversation. Science disagrees with you. Majority of science. Now, science as a whole has gotten a little complicated, but majority of science agrees that that fetus is not living per se, right? So it's not murder. Okay. It's not murder. Okay. So that there's no agreement or disagreement there. I'm not wasting my time on that. That's bullshit. But what we need to be having a conversation about isn't necessarily even about abortion. It's about how far are we going to go to continue to let the government make decisions for us? Especially, and not when it comes to politics. See, I hate when people nowadays say, oh, I don't want to talk politics. It's because politics somehow have turned into goddamn human rights. And that's insane. Politics is not racism. Politics is not police brutality. Politics is not talking about abortion. Politics is not talking about same-sex marriage or trying to help the community or anything like that. Politics is talking about how do we solve these problems. But we are so caught up on, the politics of the conversation itself. Bullshit. Because everybody has different opinions. But what we have to come together on is the fact that this is a problem. I don't care if your ideal on this is, we need to put in another Supreme Court decision. The likelihood of that happening it's not great. Okay, like that's a complicated process. It's not easy. We can't change what has happened currently, but it's getting to the point where enough is enough. And in the words of the late great Owen Hart, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. And that's where I'm standing on this. And I'm wearing all of my Pride stuff today intentionally because the other thing about this that is key, because obviously I will never carry a child. That is not something I will do. I do not plan to change my gender at any point in time. I've gone through that process. I'm perfectly fine where I am. Okay, so that will never happen. And more than likely, I'll have to end up adopting anyway. That's a whole other thing. Roe v. Wade is referenced in a bunch of other stuff, but 3 in particular that are really important: same-sex marriage, interracial marriage, and the one that is the scariest one to me, privacy in the bedroom.
Because Roe v. Wade is a privacy case.
Exactly. And so when you're sitting here focusing on Roe v. Wade is only about abortion, it's not. And this is why y'all need to stop just focusing on one particular thing that is there. You should not be amounting Roe v. Wade to abortion. Is that the main thing that came out of it? Yes. But what you need to understand is that when they overturned it, they didn't overturn it by saying, oh, we feel that abortion shouldn't happen. That's nowhere in there, I don't think.
Oh, no, there's a conversation about how they think abortion is morally wrong.
Okay, well, fuck them. I don't.
But they've said that before in upholding cases like this. Like Roberts wrote a concurring opinion several years ago on a case out of Louisiana. He's like, hey, I think this is immoral, but that's not what the law says.
Exactly.
He's like, I hate that I'm making this opinion, but I have to keep the law fair.
And what's driving me nuts right now is that the Supreme Court just woke up one day and was like, hey, we could just hide behind states' rights. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who woke up and did that, but all of the stuff that they've overturned so far, if I'm not mistaken, have been under the guise of states' rights.
And you know, Sean, I hate the term states' rights. It sounds very 1861-ish.
It does. It absolutely does. States' rights was important when we weren't able to communicate very clearly place to place.
Now
So it
just
would
send
take-
a fucking email.
Would take, yeah, right. It takes me 5 seconds to be able to communicate this law to everybody. It doesn't take very long.
Are you going to sit on my lap?
Now, do I think, actually, no, I don't actually. I'm thinking about it now. No, I don't really think states should have individual rights. I think that's stupid. Personally, now, I'm not going to get into the complexities of that, but you don't want to know my true political standing anyway.
You really want to
So I stay, and the 2 people here who know really where I stand, the one in particular who is joining us this week, knows really where I stand and knows that I don't put my political opinions out there very often compared to where I actually stand. I go by what I feel is the best thing to go by. But what my ideals of this world, very, very different. So don't, before you start saying, oh, well, your political agenda, that my cousin tried to hit me with that a couple of days ago. Not even my cousin, some other people I was talking to. My cousin's a different conversation. But they tried to hit me with that a couple of, oh, your political agenda. You know, you don't want to know my political agenda. My political agenda is very different.
That's a mood. I had a professor in college that thought I was a
fucking
moderate until the 2016 election.
Let's go back to Windish. Windish called me a fucking revolutionary. I was like, she was like, also, they all die. And I'm like, well, here we go.
Windish is also a character politically.
Windish is fucking great.
Side note. But yeah.
I don't, and so,
Are you still
long
about
story
that?
short, where I stand, and I could tell you where these other 2 stand as well, we all stand on the side of this is bullshit. Now, once we go through and talk about why it's bullshit and everybody gets their piece out, I'm going to go through, and Jennifer's going to go through, and Lionel's going to go through, and we are going to talk about what we need to do from here to be able to fix this. Because I assume that if you disagree with us at this point, you've probably already turned us off. So if you're listening at this point,
and you're probably writing a comment right here. Keep that same energy, okay?
please.
You
Yeah.
point at the camera, Sean. You keep that. Keep
So,
that same energy.
But
All right, so-
we're going to talk about what we could do to be able to fix it.
Sean,
But that's
are you
my-
serious? Is this what we're doing?
But that's my piece.
Y'all see, he's so cute, and he just wants to lay him off.
Sup, Scrappy?
Watch this.
It's adorable.
Jen, have I showed you this? Watch this. Cow, 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 cow. It's not a gimmick, I promise. Watch this. Horse, monkey, cat, cow. She really does not like that word. Why don't you go to mom? Yeah, get out of here. Okay,
Who's next?
simple. I'll go next. I am married to a white woman. And I got like 4 sentences after this. Loving v. Virginia means a whole lot. That gets repealed, y'all bitches gonna have to come take my certificate from me. My rights don't stop where your opinion starts. That's for everybody on this call. Like, everybody on this call agrees. So, like, also, can I screen share for a second, Sean?
I don't know how to give you that.
I got you. I don't need your privileges, ass. Actually, I do.
Good job.
Why
Damn
ain't
it.
that something?
No, yeah, no, don't worry about it. I'll just read it. Here we go. This was released June 7th, 2022 from the Department of Homeland Security.
Oh,
Reliable source?
Hold on. Let me make you the host real quick.
Okay. Here we go. Share. Okay. Take a second, guys.
Here we go.
Are y'all reading this? Read this. Just terrorism threat to the United States, not from any other country, half of the world that fucking hates us. This is us worrying about us. The Department of Homeland Security is saying, hey guys, these next 12 months are going to be pretty violent because people are about to choose sides and it ain't going to be pretty. Choose sides about what? So this was released June 7th. When was the overturn?
24th.
They saw this coming.
that was after the leak. That was right in the middle.
This expires on November 30th.
Oh,
So
funny
what
enough,
we said
after all of the elections.
That was after
After all of the elections.
And they talk about Uvalde, Buffalo, Laguna Woods, California,
That was where
the New York City bombing, subway.
The Laguna one was one that kind of like we
It
talked
flew,
about it,
on,
but
it
it
flew
flew
under
under
the
the radar.
radar.
Yeah.
Immigration,
abortion.
abortion, midterm elections. Now listen, look, y'all see this as DHS.gov. I'm not pulling this out of my ass. You know what? Here, just in case you guys look.
We're not trying to push our own agenda here. We're talking about what we ourselves find.
Also, side note, Sean, this is what Hoppin' John looks like.
No.
That's a no. That's what Hoppin' John looks like. Big negatory. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing. There you go.
Go back and maybe the host.
I got you.
Yeah.
Or do I want to? I don't know.
You should.
Do you? Sure. So that's all I got to say about that. Come and take my marriage certificate, motherfuckers. And being the friend of people who are directly affected by the overturn of this bill, you're pretty much fucking with my family. Lionel, listen, y'all know what happened on the call. We don't even have to talk about it. The last person who hurt a family member of mine. Okay. I support everybody, except racists.
Yeah.
Jen, after you, the political expert here.
So the other thing that hasn't been mentioned yet is that another case that they mentioned in Thomas's concurrence, which is not law, but was mentioned with gay marriage and privacy in the bedroom, was contraception. And the right to having contraception, because that is also a privacy right. It is a privacy right between a person with a uterus and their doctor.
Okay, can you just for the people listening, can you go over what contraceptives are, like examples?
Yeah. So basically anything you would use to prevent to get pregnant. And also they tend to act as hormone controllers for a lot of people with uteruses who suffer from any myriad of issues, including acne, really bad periods and cramps, PCOS, which is a bunch of cysts on the person's ovaries, and generally to control unpredictable periods. So that's a huge issue. And on top of that, that means all of this is going to immediately affect how people with uteruses track their periods.
Really?
Yeah, because a lot of people these days, myself included, use a period tracking app. And most period tracking apps have in their privacy policy that they can give up your information if they're sued or if they're subpoenaed by the US government.
Just a quick side note, just for everybody who I know y'all love to post those. I do not give Facebook the permission. Yeah, all social media sites are like that. They will sell your information in a heartbeat and consistently do it.
And laugh at you about
Horribly.
it. Like they will Chief Keef laugh at you. My favorite Chief Keef song of all time. That's a different episode. I don't think we have we introduced Jane to Chief Keef?
Yo.
What? We haven't?
If you have, I don't remember this. It has not been an active introduction.
To be fair, I got into Chief Keef when I came out here, like big time. And so that's gonna be fun.
That's okay. I'll write that down.
That's gonna be fun.
That is something we will come back to later.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Okay, continue, Jen.
So I am lucky enough to be in a state where it is safe for me to exist as a person with a uterus. However, everybody I care about, or 90% of everybody I care about that has a uterus, is not. And that includes people that are trying to go get pap smears at Planned Parenthoods because their appointment was canceled because too many people are outside.
You know, the funny thing is there's a Planned Parenthood like around the corner from my office, and I pass by it every day to go to Zaxby's because I need my 5-piece with double fries and extra Zax sauce and extra bread with the grape Fanta. Every time I see a group of people out there with signs, and they're out there all day, you know what I do? I roll my window down and tell them to get a fucking job. Get a fucking job.
There are some great playlists out there to blare at people as you drive by the way. But side note, really important, very funny. But also there is the fact that I worked for Planned Parenthood in 2017. I was an intern in Alabama. That was also the year that Alabama voted to put in their constitution that if Roe v. Wade was overturned, abortion would be illegal in Alabama. We never got so bad at the Planned Parenthood that I worked at that we canceled appointments for anything. That Planned Parenthood didn't perform abortions. They didn't have the staff to do it. They were just doing medical care. So that is medical care that affects mostly the most vulnerable among us who don't have the money, who don't have the privilege, and who don't have the support. Because they don't need to take insurance at Planned Parenthood.
That's the one in Alabama?
That was the one in Mobile.
Yeah, because Governor Mima is the best. We steadied the ship. She keeps saying that. Like, what ship? Like, Sweet Home Alabama, right? Roll Tide, right? I guess.
The demon herself.
Mima?
Yeah. The demon herself. That woman is nuts.
That was also a ballot initiative, which pisses me off more because that means everybody voted for it. It wasn't just Mima.
Correct.
Because that was my first campaigning experience, was knocking on doors in Alabama telling people to vote.
That was I don't even think Meemaw was in power during that time. That was
She was.
That was still crackhead.
No.
Oh no, that was right after he got out. Because then he went.
Yeah.
Bentley
went to jail.
That man. That man.
Like I said, Sweet Home Alabama, right?
Yeah. So
I think Indiana's much better.
This is something that, especially as somebody who doesn't want children, hits really close to home. Whether for myself, for my friends, for relatives, for people in states where they haven't decided yet, because there's plenty of states that don't have a law in the books either way that will probably vote to overturn, at least on some level. And there are so many reasons that a person terminates pregnancy, because some forms where it messes up will kill not only the fetus, it will also kill the person trying to have the child. So it's
science?
Science.
So science? It reminds me of trivia, remember? Science. You fucking nerds are going to get the question right anyway. What do you care? Except us.
I remember when that would happen. I remember the first time that happened. I was like, what the hell? Science?
No, you played with your Delta Chi friends and y'all got smoked.
Don't say y'all. Don't say y'all.
Smoked.
I was on y'all team.
That first week you were not.
Not the first week.
That second week after we smoked y'all? Yeah, of course. Even Jen got smoked by my squad.
I was gonna say, because I played with my floor. Because that was my first week on campus.
It was like, hey, you're pretty smart. You want to actually win at this?
Yes, I'm too competitive not to want.
Yes, okay, you're on our team. Good times.
Also, I would like to note that the day before they overturned Roe, they passed a case that said, hey, did the government violate your Miranda rights? You can't sue over that. Now, that doesn't mean you don't have your Miranda rights. You still have them. But you can't sue over it now. You know, the day before they knew protests would break out nationwide.
So if you can't sue, then cops don't really have to say them to you.
Kind of like there's evidentiary rules that'll get stuff thrown out. You just can't sue for damages. So you can't make them pay you money for screwing up.
So from what I heard on that case was that a guy got arrested. Well, he was detained. They put him in an interrogation room, and they didn't read him his rights, and he ended up found not guilty for the crime, but he had already confessed to it because they held him, and he lost his job over it, and he lost a bunch of other stuff, and he went to go sue for the damages of what had happened, and the judge essentially ruled, well, you probably should have known that was the case. And so since the judge ruled that, he then had to go and rule, okay, well then everybody should know by now what your Miranda rights are, and you can't sue for damages just because you didn't know what you were doing. It was essentially
Sucks to suck.
Pretty much. pretty much is what had happened,
Sucks this up.
which is
America.
utterly insane. Like, absolutely bananas.
This has been incredibly frustrating as I'm supposed to be studying these laws for the bar.
Just write America. Guarantee you'll get it right. America.
I'm just really hoping there's not a lot of constitutional law on my bar exam.
I'm telling you, America is always the correct answer. America.
Or at least the answer that sounds the most like America.
Right. Merica.
Yeah, put the
Put the apostrophe in front of the M.
front of it.
America.
So,
And baby.
with everybody saying everything that's been said to this point,
Okay.
the question that you might want to be asking at this point, or that you might be asking yourself, is what can you do? And so we're going to talk about that right now. So the first thing, one thing that has not come up yet, one thing that is being done that you need to stop doing, stop offering to bring in people into your state if they are a place you can go. I'm not saying, and other people aren't saying, this is because of the fact that you're doing a bad thing. What it comes down to is this: there are already resources in place for that. They have been preparing for this for a long time, and they are supported by major organizations. We don't know them, but you'll know them when you see them. Okay.
They are commonly known as abortion funds, and they are the ones that need your money and your help right now. And if you want to volunteer, those are actually the people that you should go through so that everybody knows you're actually a safe person.
And that's another huge thing of this, is that you don't know. I know you probably have good intentions, but not everybody's going to have good intentions. And if we get into this thing where everybody's doing that, it's a great way to show unity. But if we streamline it all into one process, we can do a lot more good that way than anything else. Here's also the other thing. I don't trust 95% of y'all. And here's why. I tell my students constantly, because I catch them in stuff all the time. And I catch them by just me talking to them. And I always tell them, do not talk to the police, because you will run into problems. And I'm going to tell you the same thing. Don't talk to the police. Just because
police will listen to you anyways.
If you've noticed recently, especially on like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you've been getting a lot more like Planned Parenthood ads, things like that. Is because they know when you're saying camping, what you're really talking about. They know when you're saying vacation, what you're really talking about. And when you're posting the map that was showing, what states are legal, you have great intentions. But to keep yourself and everybody else safe, you need to follow the correct channels that are there. So please stop posting that people can come to you unless you are a part of that. Now, if you are a part of that, you're not going to be posting it, but that's neither here nor there. It's to protect you and to protect everybody involved. Please stop posting and let the correct people deal with the scenario. Yeah, stop trying to offer, not because you're doing a bad thing, but because there are more efficient, and I mean, quite frankly, this is just what it is. People
also,
can't.
Those groups have legal support that you don't necessarily have the money or time to afford and put in place.
Exactly what I was going to say. You don't have the resources available to be able to defend yourself as well as you need to with the crusade that's going to happen with it. Now, if you do have the money and resources, find the channels and give it to them. And they'll probably bring you in and be like, hey, here's, this. I mean, but you got to understand, they've done extensive background checks on the people. Like, I don't know anything about it. I feel as though me putting all of the information out here would be kind of against what we're trying to do here. So,
If you want to figure out where you can donate or what your local state is, the National Federation of Abortion Funds is what you're looking for.
Fantastic. There you go. Now, outside of that, right, what can you do? One word: vote. Simple. Because if it's getting kicked back to the states, then we need to get people in that are going to actually, defend the states. Now, voting is complicated. Now, I also want you to understand that if you're sitting there being like, oh, my vote doesn't matter, it does. Because if 16,000 people who said my vote doesn't matter voted in not this past election, but the previous one, Kavanaugh wouldn't be there. Who else wouldn't be there?
Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett.
So all three of them wouldn't be there.
They're also very young and have very little experience.
So the three of them wouldn't have been there because those were all Trump appointed, meaning that decision would have then be 3-3, with those three being a wild card. That's a whole other conversation. And more than likely, if Hillary would have appointed them, now I know we're not going to talk about whether Hillary would have been great. It doesn't matter at this point. But
we're past that one.
But as two people here who really pushed against Donald Trump, spent all of our time pushing against fucking Donald Trump and sat there that night and watched them damn states turn.
And then we cried at a meeting the next day.
It could have been solved. However, a lot of people said their vote didn't matter. And that's wrong. So you need to vote this time. And especially because we're not talking presidential election. This is something that is going to take a little bit more time for you to be able to deal with. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through Florida. I want to talk about one Indiana person in particular, because this is the wildest shit I've ever researched in my life. Holy shit. And then Jennifer is going to talk about Maryland. And what I'm going to do on my Facebook is I'm going to go through and start talking about a lot of these governors that are up for election this year, because they are the ones that are going to be making those decisions.
Mima's up for election this year, right?
She should be. Yeah.
It's Alabama.
Mima, yeah. She should be. 100%, because she's been there. Because if she's been there as long as that definitely mean her term's almost up.
She served out Bentley's term.
Yeah.
He had just gotten reelected.
Yeah.
And then she won her own term, and now she's working on the second
Governor's
term.
up for Alabama this year, I think.
Yeah. So she
Mima.
So that means she's gone no matter what.
After this.
That explains.
She still has one more term of eligibility.
No, you said she served.
She served Bentley's term. She was lieutenant governor.
Right.
So she served out the rest of his term. Then she ran. So that was her own one term.
And now
she's
running right now.
Term.
Jesus Christ.
She's running because she hasn't been to any of her debates.
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you folks about Alabama. Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, is one of the poorest states in the union, right? Okay.
It also has one of the highest states of felony disenfranchisement,
right.
At like 7%.
Right. One of the last states in education. And I swear to y'all, people in Alabama with their poor asses think that Donald Trump was talking about them. And he wasn't talking about y'all broke asses. Even in Indiana, I want to say the same thing about some of these people.
I'll say the same thing about Nebraska and Louisiana too.
So just a quick note, Sean, before we get to Indiana, I was in Frankfurt. I'm not gonna tell you what county it was, but essentially I was in a county north of Indianapolis that was in the country that was mostly white, right? And I went into a convenience store, right? And on that convenience store door in a county that is mostly white, right, was a Trump 2024 sticker on the door. And under that sticker was, "We accept EBT."
Nice.
Fun fact,
like, you know what?
conservative states tend to receive the most federal funding.
I'm going to
Shocking.
the pilot because
Shocking. The people who want the least government interaction secretly. I don't even know if it's secret at this point, but
It's
All right,
just
Sean.
not well known. It ain't a secret.
Take it away, Sean.
So here's a working document that I'm working on, as you can see. I don't have Marilyn's on here because that's all Jennifer, but she can add it to, well, she can't add it to this actually because she's not.
I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, that's fine. So I went through the two main governors that are up for election because, we're going to get this out the way now. I'm not playing the third party game. I just got through talking about 16,000. Like, we know those numbers. Why? Because those are the idiots who wrote shit in. And yes, I'm calling you an idiot. So you're not going to see me on here talking about a lot of independents.
You better not have written a Harambe in, otherwise I could have words with people.
Oh God, don't. This isn't a joke. Now, mind you, these are my notes. So if you pause this and you're like, what, you've never seen me take notes. I take wild notes. I just need to, it's what I need to know. So when it comes to Florida's governor, the guy currently here, as you can see, is my nickname for him. And I have many nicknames for him. For example, Ron D. I want to have a lot of conversations about how we make public school better, as in making public school better, taking all the money out of public school and putting it in the charter school. I don't put any of my children or my grandchildren or anybody in my family goes to school in a public school. So I know so much about public school. I've also never done anything with education. Santis. So this man.
How do you spell that?
Huh?
How do you spell that?
And way is motherfucker.
Yeah, it's, you spell it like this right there. See that? That's how you spell it. But of course, here I'm talking about Ron DeSantis, for those of you who haven't figured that out. A person that you will more than likely see on a presidential ballot in 2024, and will probably make it fairly far, which is shocking and scary. Because if you thought Trump was bad, let me go through some of the things that Mr. DeSantis is for. Just some stuff that I made very important. So obviously, DeSantis is pro-life. Obviously, DeSantis is for banning same-sex marriage. However, he does feel that same-sex couples should have adoption rights, which I thought was strange, but whatever. And by the way, I'm pulling all of my information from isidewith.com. So it's not the most reputable of information, but it's based on what they've said in the past, what they either say themselves or what the people who vote for them typically want, which typically is what they end up having. So it kind of makes sense. He doesn't want to require equal pay for genders. Now, mind you, there's an answer on there that says, oh, well, it's because the gender pay gap is a myth. That's not what his says. His just says no. Okay. Doesn't want gun control, doesn't want to raise the minimum wage. I can tell you right now, he don't like trans people. He's for the Insurrection Act. He's against critical race theory, which I'm not talking about that conversation. A good thing about
theory isn't meant for schools.
Yeah, I don't really know what they want from me on this one. I don't know. One that's good, and as you can see, hey, that's good. So the question was, when it comes to
You can't spell.
Okay, it's my notes. I'm dyslexic. Leave me alone. But it had something to do with like underage something. And his answer said consensual spouse sex under 8. So like if you have a spouse who is under the age of 18 and you have sex with them, that should be considered statutory rape. Hey, that's good. I like that, DeSantis, right? That's kind of weird. Qualified immunity for police. Let me explain something to you. I'm ACAB. Okay, I'm not going to speak for anybody else. I'm ACAB. All right. So when I see qualified immunity, that's hell no. Okay. He does want paid maternity leave. So that's cool. He does want to protect hate speech, which is all right, whatever. He's against private prisons. Okay, it's like a lot of this was me going through and being like, oh, this is really bad. Oh, this isn't too bad. Like this one, for example. And I'm gonna highlight this and I'm gonna speak this so that you understand exactly what's being said. Ron DeFuckstick is against the separation of church and state, as in he is fully against the church and the government being separate.
What's a theocracy?
That's a whole other government. Like that's not even what we have currently. Okay.
That's what I studied in undergrad was the differences.
Listen, this man cannot win. Okay. And I don't know if a lot of our listeners come from Florida. If you can vote in 2024, when it comes to president, you cannot vote for this man. Now we got to vote in November, but that's a whole other thing. He thinks unions hurt, which kind of sucks. And the most alarming one to me, he wants to privatize all education.
It's because he wants to be able to discriminate.
We're not talking about college here. We're talking about like preschool to high school. He wants that to be private. Do you understand the severity here? That's crazy. So if you agree with him, you need to not watch this podcast. I don't really know what to tell you. But this will be, if you agree with this stuff, this will be the person you vote for. As you can see, I'm biased in whether I like him or not. I'm not biased in the notes that I took because I said, hey, there's some stuff that's good and there's some stuff that's not. For Charlie Crist and Nikki Fried, they're pretty similar. One big one that Nikki Fried's about, and as you'll start to learn something about me. I'm just gonna let that one there. I also really like this one too. That there should be an online and an in-person school option with COVID right now, and even moving forward, that should 110% be a thing. We don't do teacher guns here, so this is nice. Increased liability for police, and again, a lot of these are very similar. There are a couple here that are questionable, and I'm telling you this. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I don't think it's going to be very hard for you to understand. I'm going to want you to vote blue because I want this man to be gone from my life. Okay. I want that clear. However, there are consequences with this as well. For example, providing a photo ID to prevent voter fraud. Jennifer, you did stuff with voting, didn't you, at some point?
It doesn't prevent voter fraud.
There we go.
So most people believe that are running for office, but it doesn't do anything.
Voter fraud isn't really a big thing.
No.
I want you to understand that.
It's not. It very rarely happens, and it usually happens by people that don't know their rights because they live in a really complicated state when they try to regain their rights after committing a felony.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really specific.
Right. Here's also another one. A basic citizenship test for immigrants. No.
Isn't that part of the immigration process already?
They want a more basic one, but the thing is that there's an option to be able to remove it entirely.
Now, see, if we're doing like baby steps, I can understand and like, let's go for the baby steps, but it's not the end goal.
Yeah, this is garbage. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's where I'm at on that. Now, you don't have to agree or disagree, but again, I'm giving you the information and telling you how I feel about it. This one would mainly have to do with like foreign policy, which they wouldn't have to deal with if they weren't like, running for president or senate or something like that. But I'm concerned about this one.
That's actually a really radical take compared to a couple years ago, because you can still get fired for saying you support Palestine.
Yeah. I was a little shocked by that one. I was like, oh God, where'd that come from? I'm not a fan of this one either, which might go against what some people feel. I don't think our focus should be on suing the gun manufacturers. I think we should just be working on, things like this, which I'm still kind of in on, but it's better than nothing. A voting test? What? And
What is this, 1955?
I
well,
was gonna say that's illegal.
so it's funny you say that, because I'm gonna tell you right now, the majority of the candidates that are running this November, they want to implement a voting test.
Yeah.
So if you ever have any, and mind you, this is a voting test for you to be able to vote. Okay, you want to talk about screening? I don't know why the Democrats are sitting there going, "Oh, we need to prevent people from voting." I don't know who the fuck. I don't know who they think they are. But
These Jim Crow ass. Okay.
yeah, it's bad.
And
You're gonna
all
see
of them think that. I've yet like
It's crazy.
all of them
It's
think
weird.
that.
It's a really weird thing. And the universal income, I don't know how to feel on this because I don't know a lot about it. Jennifer kind of broke it down for me a little bit. I'm gonna be even more simple with it. Basically, the idea is that everybody gets a certain amount of money to be able to provide for certain things in the standard of living. What that amount of money, it's not a ton of money, obviously, but if you give everybody $1,000, that helps out everybody. So yeah, that's what that's about.
Who's the
Yes.
front runner in Florida?
Charlie Crist. Charlie Crist won. Actually, he ran against, or no, he didn't run against DeSantis. And this is the thing I want to tell people about Florida. DeSantis barely won. I looked at the numbers. Gillum won by 0.4%. Okay. We can do this. Now, if you want me to be honest with you, that's where I'm going. You don't have to, but that's where I'm going. It's a couple of, issues here. She actually wants to release drug offenders. Chris just said he wants to decriminalize the stuff. She actually wants to release the drug offenders. I'm big on that one. This one's also another common one that you'll see, where the government feels as though they should be able to seize property with reasonable compensation. I don't know what reasonable compensation is, but
It usually means fair market value.
I'm not a fan.
That's fair. That it's just a very traditional aspect of government. So
Yeah,
like
I'm
it's
not a fan.
understandable.
Term limits for the House, not Senate. Damn near everybody has this. I don't know why why Senate, why no one wants Senate term limits. I mean, shockingly, the senators don't want term limits. She wants states' rights on sports betting.
It's gambling.
Yeah, which I'm against that.
There's a lottery in Florida.
I'm against that personally. And the thing is, she wants it as states' rights, or she is for states' rights when it comes to changing it, but she herself wants it illegal. So if she gets it on states' rights, it'll be similar to this down here. So I'm not a fan of that personally. But I mean, out of all the things, right, that's that. So the next person we're going to talk about, so that's Florida. Now, obviously, there are some others here. I side with told me that I should vote for one of these two. I'm going to go through him later. They don't have a lot of information on him, so I didn't want to put out information without knowing anything. So I'm probably going to go through his website. I also looked at his voting because he's been a senator before. He votes well. He votes for people. He really does. I'll be honest with you on that. While I don't agree with some of his policies, he does some good shit. I want to talk about this guy right here. So Indiana's governor isn't up for re-election. And
Indiana's got some weird ass politicians.
Lionel can talk about Tom if he wants to. I want to talk about Todd. This is the wildest politician. It goes, rest in peace, Rob Ford.
So essentially, with Tom McDermott,
Todd Young.
Tom McDermott got sued by the NRA and won.
Hey,
I ain't mad at that. Todd Young. So Todd Young is a Republican senator. I think he's current. I think he's the incumbent currently. Right? Yeah.
He is.
Todd Young is like most Republicans, pro-life. He's for same-sex marriage, but he is okay with letting churches deny same-sex marriage. I'm okay with that. I'm not mad at that because, again, we shouldn't be making I'm really big on the separation of church and state because there are churches now that will accept you, and if you're at a church that doesn't accept you, fuck it. Like, why are you there? Go somewhere else. It is what it is. He's for Planned Parenthood, but he doesn't want to fund them if they're doing abortions.
he doesn't want to fund abortions is usually what that one says.
Yeah.
Because that is the current rule.
Yeah. He's anti-trans, which shocking, but I can't say he's anti-LGBTQ because, well, I could say he's anti-T, but it's weird, he's not for free birth control, which is stupid. He wants to protect hate speech. I agree with this one, and this one might be controversial, but this is me personally. He believes that the Confederate stuff should be in a museum. They should not be flown in public. It should be in a museum. I agree with that.
I agree with that too.
That's fair. Yeah, I agree with that.
Legitimately, from the beginning, I said, let's take it all, put it in a museum so that they can go visit it, pay the money. It goes back to infrastructure anyway.
All of that Confederate stuff in the state of Indiana, because Indiana was a part of the Confederacy.
Right.
We're
gonna come back to that. But just
Indiana want to be the South so bad, bro. I swear to God.
Well, I don't.
Indiana want to be the South so bad.
Whatever you think this is,
Bro,
it's not. I promise.
I'm gonna go grab a book while you keep talking to that conversation.
I don't even know what to say. He wants to identify. So, there's a big question about Muslim and Islamic garb and wearing that stuff in political places and things like that. He wants her identified, verified by a female staff member. I hate that. That's gross. So if someone shows up in a hijab, for example, right, they have to be pulled into a separate room to take the hijab off with another female staff member to be able to identify themselves and then put it back on and then go back out. And that's just crazy.
That's stupid.
He wants to socialize medicine and health, which I thought was bananas. I've never heard of that, but hey, we're for it. He wants to legalize weed, but tax it and regulate it, which is fine. He's very pro-cop, very pro-cop. When it comes to the body cams, he's like, oh, we use it to protect the cops. Okay.
Yeah,
for the qualified immunity, things like
that.
That's
why it took Deshaun Reed getting killed on 62nd and Michigan Road, which is 2 miles from my house. It took that kid getting killed for and the CVS downtown getting burned down for IMPD to even try to find a grant to get the money to pay for body cams, which a majority of IMPD officers still don't have. But I digress. Because
he's for solitary confinement for juveniles, which is the second worst thing on here, because again, we haven't come back to this. We got but that's horrible. God, that's so bad. I didn't think anybody would have that stance, and yet here we are. He wants teachers to have guns. Shocking. He supports the Patriot Act, which in my opinion is the worst damn thing that has ever happened to this country. And he didn't want Juneteenth, which is
80% of the lawmakers didn't really want Juneteenth.
Well, that goes to show what power we have. Let's come back to this here, though. God, Todd Young. So the question was, are you for the death penalty? And Todd Young said yes. But I believe The victims of, or the family's victims should choose the punishment.
Which is the weirdest take on restorative justice that I have ever heard.
What? Say what? Sorry, what is that? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so we want to go medieval. We want him to sit on this wooden block that's really sharp at the top and have weights on both feet. And eventually we want the weights to pull him down and let the wood slice his body in half. Guillotine.
Can you imagine being in a fucking courtroom and the judge looks at the grieving family who has just had to sit there and listen to the story over and over and over? What do you want to happen to this person right here? How do you want them to die? What? First off, why are we taking the power out of the judge's hands? That's weird.
It's like,
That's
it's
really
almost
weird.
like you don't need him there.
Like, number two, what? Who came up with that? That is one of the most bananas things I've ever heard. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to be the intro to the show. I just want you to know that's one of the craziest things I've ever heard. I don't even know. I'm against the death penalty, but I'm against that. I don't know what that is. But God, Jesus.
That is the most twisted version of somebody trying to say, like, it's restorative justice, but it's not because somebody's going to die.
What? That's all I got when I read that. Tom McDermott, he's not bad. He's aligned with me incredibly on education, with the exception of truancy. Hey, parents, I believe you should go to jail for truancy. I'm an educator. I'm just throwing that one out there. I don't think it should come down on the kid. I think you should go to jail, personally. If you are found in like a legit truance violation, yeah, we ain't playing. I ain't playing those games because I deal with it enough. But everything else, so if you want my entire educational view, here it is. Put more money into education. Let us have universal standards. Teachers don't need guns. I don't really know. Like, it's pretty easy. And he's pretty much against 90% of what Todd Young, well, I can't even say that, like 85%, because again, Todd Young is the strangest man ever. I don't know. Put death penalty. I'm gonna fix that one. But yeah, they're both for. Look at it this way, Indiana. Regardless of which one you get, they'll be for socializing healthcare. So that's cool.
Wild.
Indiana, y'all got some stuff, man. I don't know. These two down here, this guy won the libertarian vote. I don't know anything about him. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't really fuck with libertarians. So, but also, again, I'm not doing independent third parties. I mean, I side with Tells. I'm not putting my political party out there because no one would ever believe it, because I don't believe it every time I take it. But it's been 3 years running now.
So funny.
It's the weirdest thing.
It's so funny.
What are you in a tea party or some shit?
Hold on, I'm gonna stop the share and then so yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna put my political party affiliation truly out here. I mean, obviously I'm gonna register as a Democrat, but as I just told, Lionel, did that surprise you that that's where I fell? Yeah. I don't really know how that happened, but whatever. So my point to this, before I hand it over to Jennifer so she could do Maryland stuff, because Maryland apparently has a lot of people running.
And I'm not going through all of them. I refuse. Absolutely.
Again, we're not really on the third party train here. And we're also not really gonna sit there and play with the people who aren't gonna win, because this is about more, and this is kind of what I want to tell you about voting. You can feel however you want on this. I think voting is important. But it's important to be able to vote for what's going to get the most results. not necessarily who you most agree with. You need to be careful because if you start voting, because a lot of times you're not going to align with the Democrats or the Republicans. You're going to align more with the third party people. Why? Because they're more individualized. The problem is that they make up 99% of the government. And that's where we are. And that's what people are going to know. And it just is what it is. So you're not going to see me coming on here, and it's no hate to these third party people. But I mean, you know, my favorite candidate of all time, Bernie Sanders, even had to go Democrat. So, I mean, understand it's just part of the game right now. And until we fix the bipartisan shit, it's not going to change. But when the Republican Party dies, which will happen sooner rather than later.
Please.
Like I say within 10 years, if not less time than that. But that's a conversation
Tomorrow.
for
It could also be tomorrow.
I would love for it to be tomorrow. That'd be great.
That'd be cool.
That'd be great. If the leader of the Republican Party, which I still look at as Donald Trump, which I don't know how this happens, but
Might also be Mitch McConnell, but that's not better.
we don't talk about McConnell.
Somebody tell Mitch
McConnell's-
to like tuck his chin in because he looks like a frog ready to leap.
McConnell, I hate to say it, McConnell's irrelevant to me. Marjorie Taylor Greene has more fucking relevance than damn McConnell. I mean, my God.
I hate
Jesus
her too.
Christ. But anyway, you need to vote. You don't have to align with me. I'm not saying that, but I'm going to put that information out there. I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, and then I'm going to give you the information that's there. If you want to see where I got the information from, go to isidewith.com. You can take the test yourself, find where you fall, and then go through and you could look at what all of the candidates say. As it gets closer, they'll actually go through and approve what's there. So as we get closer, but for right now, start your understanding now so that you can start seeing when they change. Because the whole point of this is we need to put people in place who are going to actually put the laws into place. Just because they're red or blue doesn't mean that they're going to put the law in place. Now, I'm saying that in Florida, if you vote red, fuck you. I'm not gonna lie. That's where I'm at. But please, for a lot of other states, you need to really look at what is there. Now, I strongly feel that Charlie Crist and Nikki Fried will both put pro-life things out there. It may not be full. I don't think that's going to happen, but it'll at least be more than what's there, and I think that's important.
Pro-choice.
Did I say pro-life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you know why I said pro-life? Because it's actually being pro-life. Shockingly. Sorry.
No, fair. Also, you all need to know this because primaries are coming up. I know Maryland primaries are next month. So
Florida primaries happened in March. Indiana primaries happened in May. No,
So we
May,
haven't done
March, the other way around. Yeah.
That was voting in Indiana was the biggest clusterfuck ever.
I'm looking at y'all senator. I don't know, man. Like top three, like of the most interesting politicians ever. I don't even put Vermin Supreme in the top three, but that's a whole other conversation.
So can you give me screen sharing so that I can,
Yeah.
because I have my own notes.
You're good.
Because, and straight up, did not do everybody because there is like 24 people running for everything.
Oh, that's so many. Oh God.
Right? So I picked some of my favorites or whoever was the most popular, depending on what we're talking about, because I don't have a favorite Republican.
Obviously.
I do have one that I wouldn't absolutely hate, which is a start, but we'll get to him.
What do I have favorites here?
So I found it easier to just kind of list what they all agree on because the list is long and doesn't end. And a lot of the Democratic candidates for governor in Maryland are very, very similar. Because as you'll notice, the only thing I have for Wes Moore is that I met him at Pride this weekend.
Nice.
And he deserves a shout out for that. So
Fair enough.
I met Wes Moore at Pride this weekend and I support him for that.
Shout out Westmore.
Wait, did Pride go down Gay Street in Baltimore this year?
No, it went down.
Ah,
I wish it went down Gay Street.
why did Pride go down Gay Street? That I mean, I feel like the street is there just for Pride.
It would have made me so happy. So,
Missed opportunity there.
right.
I don't know,
So
Jen, write a letter.
The Dems in Maryland generally support climate change regulations. They're pro-choice, pro-gay marriage, legalize weed, don't test welfare recipients for drugs, raise the minimum wage, don't arm teachers, don't support the death penalty. You know, the standard stuff that we expect. I put pro-choice in there twice, which is funnier. Also, they support universal basic income, which I think is really cool. And Baltimore City's doing a test run of it right now for $1,000 for certain young parents a month.
Really?
Yeah.
Shout out Baltimore.
Right?
That was a universal. One of my curtains fell.
Good job.
I knew it was gonna happen. Scared the crap out the cat though. Anyway,
That's the intro to the show. No. That's the intro to the show.
Oh man. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, also, most of them believe in funding sanctuary cities, which I just thought was kind of cool.
Nobody in Florida is for that.
I think Indianapolis is actually a sanctuary city.
That's cool.
I don't know if we have any in Florida. I truly don't know. I know it ain't Jacksonville. I know that much.
So, Peter Francho is the front runner. He's not my favorite. He's okay. Not my favorite because he supports raising funding of police instead of decreasing it like every other Democrat on the ballot.
Hey, yo, Pete. Put that money somewhere else, bro. Come on now.
Well,
He also supports hormone testing for trans people competing in sports, which I also just wrote a paper on and I hate it. So,
Oh, God.
Doesn't support vaccine mandates for large businesses, and doesn't want to decriminalize school truancy. There was mixed on this one, so I included it for him because it depends on the candidate. So, and then Ashwani Jain, I have also met, which is why I included him here. I met him right after he started running, and he's a former Obama staffer, not staffer. He worked in one of his departments. And he was a cool dude. He supports larger social programs than most of his opponents. He's the only one I've seen that supports lowering the voting age, which I find really interesting to anybody who's paying taxes.
Yeah, I am also for that as well. 100%.
Fun fact, in Maryland, you can register to vote as long as you will be 18 by the next election.
You do that in Florida too.
And Indiana.
It goes down to 16 though here instead of just being a 17.
Oh.
So you can register in off years,
Jeez. Okay.
right?
Impressive.
And he doesn't support any form of nuclear energy because he thinks we should be putting all of our money into renewable resources, which is different than most of the rest of the party. But fair. So,
Okay.
these two are probably my favorite at the moment. Wes Moore, just because like he runs with the generic stuff, and I met him at Pride, and Ashwani Jain because he's a little bit more liberal than the other options. But Peter Francho is definitely the front runner for the Dems. We don't have, our governor is not up for re-election. He's already run through his term limits. And for these two, these are the two front runners for the Republican Party for governor. I highlighted their differences because I didn't do this with any rhyme or reason. To be
More
completely
organized than mine was. So.
Arming teachers.
Yeah, he supports arming teachers, she doesn't. So,
You're gonna arm a teacher in Baltimore City.
right?
You don't want to arm a teacher anywhere.
We already
We're
have our own
fucking
private
crazy.
police force.
We're
Yeah,
crazy.
we already have our own private police force for Baltimore City schools. Like, fuck off.
Do y'all hold on? Do y'all, and maybe I'm blown away. Do y'all not realize most teachers don't get fucking drug tested?
Yes. I worked in the education system too, Sean.
I mean,
I got drug tested.
I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about like y'all got to realize y'all do not want these teachers to have guns. I'm telling you, the children will die. I don't think you understand. Y'all, and the reason why I said this is because y'all parents don't pick up the phone all the time. And I get it, the parents overcall sometimes, but y'all don't pick up the phone all the time. Y'all don't understand how crazy these teachers are. I don't want these teachers to have guns, I'm telling you.
I
Agreed.
heard from Sean.
You don't want me to have a gun. I wouldn't do anything, but goddamn. What you want? Like, God.
Continue,
Anyway.
Jen.
So Kelly Schulz supports stricter background checks on guns, which I honestly was kind of surprised at. Most Republicans don't approve.
Okay.
And supports funding for Planned Parenthood as long as it's not for abortion, which is what we do now anyways. So that's not new.
All right.
Neither of them support gay marriage. Both of them want stricter immigration and banning Muslims and no legal weed. Don't raise taxes on the rich, don't raise minimum wage. Both are pro-life. I'm not impressed.
What's with banning? Like, Islam is like one of the most, is way more peaceful than Christianity.
Also, Islam supports abortion more than Christianity.
And the history is a lot more favorable to
Yeah.
the lack of violence. It's yeah.
I love the history.
Lord of mercy.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so Jesus.
Yeah, not impressed.
Yeah, that's okay.
So the Senate only has two Democrats running. I did the same thing that I did for the Democrats up there. Chris Van Hollen is our incumbent, who's not a bad dude. Again, not my favorite, but he's an older white guy in office, so I'm not surprised. He does. Oh, this was a fun one that not everybody agrees with. It does not support flying drones over other countries. Oh, supports it for. I can't type apparently. He supports it for flying over other countries to gather info, but not to kill terrorists, which is an interesting line.
Both are still an act of war.
Right? I do find it interesting. He wants companies to ban political advertising, which I just don't think is gonna happen.
Yeah, I can't see that one. I just kind of left that one alone. He supports charter schools though, so I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan of that one either.
Not a fan. Stop putting money into the charter schools. Just put them into the public schools. Be a lot better off.
Yeah, Michelle Lawrence Smith, I like her better, and doesn't support charter schools.
All right, Michelle, great job.
Both of them legalize weed, pro-choice. Again, we come back to quit requiring IDs for voting. You're wrong.
I don't understand why.
Right? Restrict buying.
Well, I mean, I
guns.
do, but you know.
Yeah. This one comes up quite a bit. Don't make it illegal to burn the American flag.
There is a Supreme Court case on this. Texas versus Johnson. What is it, 1963? It was like one of the first court cases that I read when I started to get into like history and stuff. I went to like a museum and it was there. Like, this is already done. Why are we still talking about this?
Because apparently precedent means nothing.
It's a sign of protest. It sucks to suck. It's already been done.
They both want to reform the Supreme Court though, so, and abolish the Electoral College.
There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Florida won't do that because we're the damn voting spotlight every damn year. So they ain't gonna do that.
I apparently can't spell Paris, but they support the Paris Climate Accord and universal basic income.
You tell me I can't spell.
I deserved that.
All right.
For the Republicans, for some reason I put there's general agreement up here. Oh, this is because there's a lot of them and I refuse to go through them individually.
Fair enough.
There's a ton. I refuse. So generally speaking, they agree on not legalizing weed, testing welfare recipients for drugs, increasing border security, which is actually important here because we're talking about senators, require immigrants to learn English, also require IDs for voting, but I'm not surprised because they're Republicans. Allow people to deny service to a customer if it reflicts with the owner's religious beliefs. They're generally split on abortion, critical race theory, raising taxes on the rich. These are things they're split on, by the way, which I was shocked.
Critical race theory, I think the longer it's going on, the more people are like, oh, this is a really stupid thing that we are like
also
actually talking about.
Two of the people running are black men, so
Okay.
as Republicans.
Okay. Makes a lot more sense.
They're split on raising the minimum wage, on the Affordable Care Act, which also shocked me because Obamacare, the Paris Climate Accord, universal basic income. They're split on all of that, which honestly, like, took me for a loop. Maryland's wild. And then this is the only one that I probably wouldn't get in a verbal disagreement with on site. Nabu Ease, I believe. He supports gay marriage, redirecting funds from the police to social services, funding sanctuary cities, and not giving police military-grade equipment, and is running as a Republican in Maryland for Senate.
I say, what makes him a Republican? Like at this point?
Well,
like,
because he agrees with everything else that was up here.
Oh, to the people that who are watching the show, I really hope you guys can read, because if you can't, then this episode is very I really hope you're not a slow reader, because
just pause. It's all
it's
good.
like, pause to
There
read.
for you forever.
There's a TikTok. Pause to read, big dog.
Oh my God.
So that's why he's a Republican, but he's a Republican I apparently agree with 48% of the time.
It's a high percentage for Republicans. It's
Especially for me,
that ain't too bad.
right?
That ain't too bad at all. Okay.
I'm still caught on the fact that they're split on abortion. That threw me for a whole loop.
I mean, after looking at what you were talking, okay. Never mind. We're gonna move on. All right.
I didn't go. Okay, so the House reps that are up for election. There's only 2 of them in my district. I'm in District 7, which covers Baltimore City. And we only have a Democrat and a Republican. There's nobody else, so they aren't on the primary ballot. But Kwesi Mfum was special election and is running now. He's the current incumbent. He thinks we should legalize weed, raise taxes on the rich, gay adoption rights, don't test welfare recipients for drugs.
Because it's a waste of money.
Right?
It's a waste of damn money.
Nobody cares.
Oh my God.
Teach critical race theory, supports universal basic income, and single payer healthcare.
Hey.
Michael Person, which is a hilarious last name.
Mr. Person.
Yeah, right.
All
I'm
right,
like
person.
a generic dude. Yes.
Just some guy. Mr.
He doesn't have a lot of answers of his own. A lot of it relies just on what the Republican Party thinks. So if a Republican Party thinks that, Person probably agrees.
That makes sense.
What do you think, Person? I agree.
He said, look, I'm just going to let the name speak for itself.
Don't raise taxes on the rich, no gay adoption rights, test welfare recipients for drugs. And then they do agree on more gun control, more environmental regulations, not allowing teachers to carry guns. They're both pro-choice. Again, what?
Because Baltimore.
That's fair. Raise the minimum wage, fund Planned Parenthood. I think one of them might have been don't fund abortion, but I don't remember. Require vaccinations, support the Affordable Care Act and gay marriage, fund space travel. So we're going to go to space. And convicted criminals should have a right to vote, which is already Maryland law. So I'm not surprised.
It's Baltimore. I make a lot of jokes about Baltimore, but Baltimore is actually a pretty cool city.
I was going to say, I like Baltimore.
Once you get over the fact that people don't know how to drive, all the unnecessary one-way streets.
And sometimes it stinks.
Right. Trying to be like New York City so bad with the one-ways. Like, stop. But Pulaski Highway, man, I could go. And the fact that you're in Baltimore and you haven't had chaps since I left Baltimore kind of pisses me off.
I regret it for myself personally.
Because I could eat some ribs right now with some baked beans, some macaroni and cheese.
Absolutely.
And a big ass lemonade that cost you like $60. But it was worth every dime.
It was really good.
Every penny. We may have to stop through Baltimore.
at some point. But yeah, shout out to Baltimore.
Also, since we're all done going over our candidates in our respective states, let me just make something clear. It is not hard to register to vote. There really isn't an excuse unless you're in Kentucky. Oh, by the way, did you guys know that Kentucky, they used to vote, at their probate offices is where they used to register to vote,
Fuck Kentucky.
right? They're doing away with that. It is now regional, and they're doing everything online. And then like these commercials, because Louisville is 2 hours from Indianapolis, and Louisville is on the border of Indiana and Kentucky, so we get Louisville like commercials too. And they're like, oh yeah, you can get a 4-year license or an 8-year. Do everything online, or come in the store. Like that's trash. Because like, where are you going to put them in the major cities? You got Louisville, Lexington, Paducah, Bowling Green. Like that's like 4 cities, and I guarantee you they're only going to be in like 4 or 5 places. And that ain't right.
It is a very convenient way to keep people from voting.
Right. But you can register to vote in literally like 5 minutes.
Do it online.
Oh, that was the first mic pickup for Jen. That was good. That was good.
I used to yell at people about that all the time.
Yeah, just do it online.
I don't know. But don't wait for somebody to come around to you to be like, have you registered to vote? Just do it online.
I was the person that would yell at you, are you registered to vote? Just do it online. Make people's lives easier, yours included.
Well, the funny thing about Indiana, when I moved here, my driver's license, it was like you have 20 days to get an Indiana license. So as soon as I got my Indiana license, they're like, we're gonna register you to vote too. Like,
automatic voter registration.
shut up.
Brilliant.
Like, shut up, you're registered. Where you live, shut up, don't worry about it. And then they, disenfranchise you when you get to the polls. But that's a different story for a different day.
There's phone numbers to call for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, November. It's like the 8th or the 2nd through the 8th, I think. Is like all across. November 2nd through the 8th is when all of the different states.
Election day is November
8th. This one day.
But I've seen some stuff saying like some people are doing like early stuff.
Early
like
vote,
that.
yeah.
That depends on your
Yeah.
state. You
Right.
need to look it up.
Indiana
No matter
does
what,
early vote.
election day is November 8th.
Yeah. So November 8th. If you can vote
Is
early,
that
vote
that's
early.
going to be a Tuesday show. We might not actually be able to record that day. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah, we'll figure that out. That's not a big deal.
And don't wear any political gear when you go vote.
You tell an Indianimal. You tell a Hoosier. I fucking hate. Like, oh, us Hoosiers. No, I'm not a fucking Hoosier. Don't call me that. I just live here, dude. Don't call me a fucking Hoosier. You tell a Hoosier not to wear his MAGA hat.
Yeah, don't just stay low key, do what you got to do. But the main thing, go vote. Like that's like the thing is that besides the protests, which I'm not going to come on here and encourage you to go protest. Besides the
protest, do it safely.
Jesus.
That's it.
Leave your
That's
phone,
something-
cover your tattoos.
Let somebody know who you trust where you're going.
Yeah. And don't talk to nobody.
That's something we'll have to cover in another episode. I don't think there's a such thing as a peaceful protest,
That's fair.
but we'll get into that.
You ever want to talk about protesting? I will be happy to come back for that.
Okay. Well, we're gonna have to reschedule a date with you.
Yeah.
We got a couple of guests that are coming back. J.E.'s, he's got an album coming out. The episode where we just play Chief Keef and let Jen react to it.
We're gonna have to censor all that music.
Well, no, we'll just have it playing in her headphones and we'll just get her reaction live. I don't know. We'll figure it out somehow. It'll be fucking hilarious.
If all of us are wearing headphones, nobody will hear the music.
Yeah. And then as it stands right now, Deontay is supposed to be coming in next week, which is which is my boyfriend, of course.
Are y'all gonna be like on the same camera, or is he gonna do like his own?
I'm not sure.
Because I got some questions. Yeah.
Is it gonna change whether we're in the same room or not?
I don't know.
Does that matter?
I don't know. I don't know. It might.
I don't think it matters.
Listen, if Mel is in a different camera than me, and you ask me a question about my marriage, I'll probably be more apt to answer it when she's on a different camera instead of sitting next to me.
What am I supposed to do? Put him on his laptop in my room? What do you want me to do?
I don't know.
What?
Figure it out. Yeah, so y'all gonna sit together and do the podcast, or he's gonna have his own mic and headphones? That's all I ask.
I mean, he might have to bring a whole chair over here. I mean, I have a chair, but it's not like a computer chair like mine. But
You gonna get a chair out of the kitchen?
I don't think it'd be the kitchen.
I got a folding chair, an extra folding chair in my office that I got from Midget
Technically,
Wrestling.
I got a chair right here I can move, but
I'm sorry, micro wrestling, not Midget Wrestling. By the way, as we close this episode out, I just want to say that I support micro violence.
What?
Yes.
Okay, let's.
It was.
We need some context. You can't just say we support microviolence.
Support micro violence. So,
oh my God.
this weekend, so for those of you who follow Lionel, I drug my wife and some friends and some co-workers to the Marion County Fair to see the Micro Wrestling Federation. And they're like, Lionel, what are you doing? I said, it's going to be fun. You're going. Okay. I only had to convince one person. Okay. My buddy Rick, I said, hey, listen, we're going to see Micro Wrestling. And he watched one YouTube video. And he was like, all right, I'm in. So we get there, and all of these wrestlers are, of course, micro, and they're like setting up and all of that stuff. And immediately, like as soon as I walked in and showed my tickets, they started talking shit to me. Like, what? I'm a big wrestling fan, so I knew exactly what was going on. They're little. I'm the biggest guy they've seen so far. Get a rapport going with him during the show. To get some crowd interaction, they can always come and go, hey, you big dude, right? Anyway, so it pretty much was like, shout out to like, what's his name? Flying Ryan, The Little Show, those guys, bro. Sean, like if you haven't looked this up yet, like.
Did you just say Little Show?
The Little Show, bro. This is
That's the best name. The Little Show.
This was the best, like, this was the most fun I've had in Indiana.
Lionel, did they have women micro wrestling?
They do,
They do have,
but
women
not
micro
at this
wrestling.
show.
So
So
not
if
at
you
this
want
show.
if you want to see the women micro wrestlers, you got to go to their Pigeon Forge show. They do a show in Pigeon Forge from Wednesday to Saturday. They do 4 shows a week.
Do you think they take tryouts?
I don't think you're tall enough. I think you're too tall, Sean.
I'm too tall?
Yeah, I think you're too tall.
Well, Jennifer. Is Jennifer too tall?
I'm not technically a midget. I'm not 4'9".
Jennifer, I'm gonna be honest. I think they let you wrestle.
Wonder if I can look
I-
up requirements.
Listen, Jen, I think they let you rock. Honestly,
You could be like the Amazon.
she could be like, and her persona. Yeah, her persona would be like,
be like the
uh,
the big Amazon girl.
yeah. What would Jen's wrestling name be?
I can't believe you almost ruined that joke for me, Lionel. I can't believe you almost did that.
No. I knew exactly where you were
I
going.
can't believe you almost
I wasn't gonna let you.
At the very least, they're all under 5 feet tall, and I hate that.
Okay, then it's settled. You're trying out for micro wrestling.
Yeah.
It's you're listen. I will drive to Pigeon Forge just to,
If we get you a resume together, I could build a resume. I could teach you how to cut a promo.
Listen, I promise you,
listen,
we got you. We got you.
Listen, we could put your dancing experience on there. Like,
I didn't even think about that, Sean.
we got this.
Like,
That's
she
easy.
got a couple taunts. She can
That's
what's
easy.
it called, plie. Like she can hop across the ring to like avoid a clothesline and oh, bro, listen, Jen, you're wrestling.
I
What's
hate
up?
y'all.
You're doing it.
Can you do?
You're doing it.
Can you do a handspring?
No,
You said that very confidently.
I have a really bad shoulder.
Oh,
I dislocated this shoulder twice.
oh.
Can you do a handstand?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. Handstand to a leg drop. That's your finisher.
The handstand leg drop.
Easy.
Bam.
Done deal. I think I'm creating Jen on my WWE 2K19, Sean. I think we can.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think they let you make wrestlers that small. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm pretty sure like the smallest you can make is like 5'1". I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
Have you tried?
Yes.
When did you try? Like on what gaming system did you try? Like on what game? Like what year?
All of them.
Except 22.
I mean, I haven't played. I mean, except the ones that haven't played. I mean,
I think I'm gonna try it on 22. I'm gonna see what happens.
You do that. Let's not hold the people any longer. Jen, thanks for coming by. It was fantastic. We're gonna have you back again, of course. Good luck on taking the bar, even though you're already a lawyer. It's all good.
Whatever.
No, it is what it is. It's just
Shut up. You're a lawyer. Shut
just,
up.
Just formality
Right.
at this point.
Whatever.
You know.
You're a lawyer. Shut up. You know.
But I'm Sean. That's Megabron. That's Jen.
This is But Peep This, y'all. See y'all next week.
Peace.